Hello everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. You are joining me February 10th in my craft room slash spare room in East Suit, Vancouver Island, Canada. I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Canada, obviously. And tonight I'm going to show you how to make a very sweet little note card and matching envelope using some of the Sale-A-Bration paper that I got for free. So super simple to make, and it's a great way to showcase some of these really pretty papers. So if you are crafting along, you are going to need your paper trimmer and your scissors and an adhesive. I'm going to use tear and tape for the envelope, but you do you, whatever you want. Now I'm just going to bring up my laptop. It's always lagging a little bit behind, so I have to refresh it. And just so I can make sure that my hands are in camera view. All right, so I've just put down some paper to take away some of the glare that I get on the glass mat. So that's why I've got paper down today. Not that I think it really matters, but I am in a rush. So just before I started, hey Carissa, thanks for tuning in. Like just a minute before I was supposed to start the live, I realized I didn't have any tear and tape, which I need for the envelope. So I had to rush downstairs because that's where my tear and tape was, and grab a pack and rush back up. So I'm almost out of breath. Maybe I need a bit more cardio in my life. Hello, Carolyn. Thanks for tuning in. Hello, Leanne. All right, so let's start out by scoring our piece of 6x6 designer series paper for the envelope. And also why I was rushing is that the measurements that I wrote down for the envelope, they were actually wrong, and I just tried to throw one together 10 minutes before the class started, and I realized that I didn't have them written down, so I had to remeasure everything, and yeah, then there was the tear and tape. Anyway, I digress. Hey Jackie, how's it going? Okay, so now it doesn't matter which side you want to score on. If it's directional, then you might want to score the paper that's going to be on the long side first. So for this, it doesn't really matter, but I'm just going to, if it was directional, which this isn't, you would just want to be mindful of which direction the pattern goes for your first score lines. So for the first score lines, we're going to score at, I'm going to move my cutting blade because I'm in such a tizzy. I'm going to mess something up tonight. Like I can feel it, and I don't want it to be, I don't want to cut my envelope. All right, first score line will be 1.5. And then score it again at 4.25. All right, so you won't be able to, I don't think you're going to be able to see it, but I've scored it at 1.5 and 4.25. Now flip it around and score it at 1/2 and 5.25. All right, so we have got now half an inch score line and 5.25. I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold in on all my score lines, and then I'm going to do a little bit of cutting. So I'm going to cut out the tabs on all 4 corners. So on the side where you scored at 1/2, you're just going to cut in on that score line until you reach that first score mark that's going down the middle of your card stock. I can't even think tonight. I'm having trouble with words even. Oh my. All right. And then turn it around and do the same thing. So you're just going to cut that tab out. So now your paper is going to look like that on one end. Flip it around. I'm going to do the same thing and cut out some tabs. So you're just cutting along the first score line until you meet that middle score line. And same thing on the other side. All right, so now your paper will look like this. And then I'm just going to cut some wedges on the flap. So I'm going to have a top flap and a bottom flap. So I'm just cutting them at an angle. I'm not measuring, I'm just hand bombing it. All right, so now it looks like so. All right, so the flap that is wider, that's going to be the top of the envelope. Now I'm going to show you how easy this is to stick together. So when you fold in, one fold is going to be wider and then the other one's going to fold right in on it. So for the piece that is a little bit wider, you're going to take your tear and tape, which I have here, and just run it on the edge of that flap. Now you don't have a ton of room with the measurements, so you want to get your tear and tape or whatever adhesive you're using as close to the edge as you can. Yeah, Chris, it is menopause. Everything I have, everything that goes wrong with me, I'm going to blame menopause, 100%. All right, so now fold in that flap that's got the adhesive on the one edge, and then just fold the other side over and press down, and that is going to connect. So now I've almost got it put together. I'm going to put some tear and tape on the bottom flap, and I'm going to fold it up, and that, friends, is the basis of this envelope. It's that easy. It is that easy. And I've been thinking about doing this ever since I got this paper, but I felt lazy about figuring out the measurements. Now I've seen people, hey Phyllis from Tennessee, thanks for tuning in. Hello, Cindy. I've seen people make these where they don't measure, they just kind of fold the paper in on itself, and I'm not that girl. I like measurements. I just like measurements. All right, so here's a little envelope. Now, for the card, I have got a piece of cardstock that is 5 by 4.5. Grab your paper trimmer again, and we're going to score this on the 5-inch side, right down the middle. So make sure you've got it at the 5-inch side and score it down the middle at 2.5. And then we're just going to fold it in half. And there's our little card base. So this is, I like to fold my card bases using the lip of my paper trimmer. I did a reel on this not too long ago, but I just find that if I butt up one end and then fold in on my score line, press down with my finger, I get these edges nice and flush, and I like that. So that's my little tip for that. So here's our card base. I've got a piece of pattern paper, which I actually forgot what the measurements were. I know I have it in the photo, but I don't have the photo handy. Let me just measure for you, just in case you didn't see the measurement photo I posted yesterday. All right, so this is 2.25 by 4.25. 2.25 by 4.25. I'm just going to glue this down on the front of the little note card. And then I grabbed a sentiment, just a small one, and I actually grabbed the thank you sentiment from another Sale-A-Bration item, from the heart-shaped stamp set. And it's nice and little, and it's got a really pretty script, so it's going to work well. I've got a set of thank you cards to make, so I'm going to be doing them just like this with matching envelopes, but with all sorts of different fruit paper. So once I get all my thank you cards ready to go, I'll post a picture. Hey Kate, thanks for tuning in. Okay, now I have got a piece of pumpkin pie, which is 2.25. by 1/2. And the piece of basic white, that is 2 by 1/2. And I'm going to stamp my little sentiment that says thank you right in the middle of the little piece of basic white. Hey Judy, you're not late. Anyway, oh Kelly, you made it to alive. It is not late here. It is 10 after 7 in the evening. What time is it where you're at? All right, now I'm just going to give this a little stamp. And see how pretty that script is? I think it's lovely. Lovely. All right, now I'm just going to glue this on to the back of my sentiment piece. I probably didn't need that much glue. Oh well. And then I'm going to mat that onto the little strip of the pumpkin pie. So, Judy, now that you're watching, orange and yellow, friend, these colors remind me of you. I am really in a yellow and orange kick lately. I wish that color looked better with my skin tone. I would wear it all the time. Kelly, it is 11:11 on a Tuesday. You're a day ahead. All right, now I have got my favorite linen thread. So I posted on the weekend registration for my upcoming in-person class, and it sold out again in, I don't even know if it was maybe just over 24 hours. And I have a lot of guilt about it because I know not everybody gets in, but there's only so much space at the hall, and there's only so much prep I can do for the size of a class. So anyway, I do feel bad that not everybody got in. So I've been kind of thinking about what I can do for future classes so nobody's left out. So there might be a card club coming in the future. So stay tuned, friends. I've never done a card club, mostly because I hardly ever know what I'm making until I make it. And I think card clubs require a little bit more organization, but 2025 Kate should be more organized anyway. So hello, Lena. All right, now I stuck some tear and tape on the back of my sentiment. I'm grabbing my linen thread and I'm just sticking that in kind of a loose figure 8. I'm not even cutting the twine. I'm just going to see how much I want and then I'll give it a snip. So I was starting to get ready and plan some cards for the in-person class that is just under 2 weeks away. And I realized that I only have one. I have this and this for linen thread. It's not enough. I need more linen thread. I don't think I've ever let myself get that short on linen thread. So anyway, I put in an order today just in case. Anyway. Oh, Kelly, I'm glad you like the orange combinations. I think you can't go wrong with orange and yellow. They're just such cheerful colors. So anyway, and browns are great for neutral, but I've also been pairing some browns with brighter colors too. And if anybody is tuning in for Thursday's card class at home with the terrific toadstools, I'm pretty sure I'm pairing brown with a brighter color. So tune in. Hello, Linda. First time watching. I'm really glad. You are part of a card club. I think people do love card clubs. And I know I should do it. And then nobody's going to be left out from any of my classes, which has really been on my mind. And I just have to prepare. I have to be organized. Hello, Janice. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so I've got my twine on. I put a couple dimensionals on the back, and I am just going to pop this little sentiment. Now I cut the orange so it's going to fit perfectly across the designer series paper, in theory. And then I went ahead and cut out some pieces from the designer series paper, whatever I could salvage, because I got some end pieces and whatnot. And I thought I will stick them wherever I can stick them. and be able to cover up that they're partial images. So let's do it. I'm just going to trim this down so I can sneak it in there. I'm just going to put some mini dimensionals on the back. I'm going to slide it underneath that twine. And then on my rough edges, I'll just cover it up with a folder piece. And I only did that because I was trying to salvage as much of this citrus paper as I could because it is my favorite. The orange and lemon pattern in this fruit salad designer series paper is my favorite. So, oh, Cindy, that's good to know that so are you running a card club or you are participating in a card club? I'll pick your brain about that. Probably not tonight because I got some things on the go, but I might have to send you a message and ask you how your card club goes because I know how some people run them, but I also want to be a little bit different because that's fun too. All right, so now I've got a couple pieces of the citrus just popped up behind that twine, and I'm going to do the same thing with this last piece. I'm going to stick that behind there. And then if you don't like the inside of your note card, the solid color, you can cut a piece of designer's or a basic white paper the same size as the pattern paper. That was 2 1/4 by 4 1/4, I think. I'll have to measure it again. And glue that to the inside. Now I do like to add white, but I have 10 little note cards to make, and I've got 10 cards to 8 cards to design for the class, 10 kits of each. So we'll just see how far along I get this weekend with card prep. All right, so almost done this tiny little note card. It is so cute. It is so cute. I've got the Sunny Day Iridescent dots. They are so bright. These are in the mini catalog, and they've got these perfect little orange ones. I don't know if these are pumpkin pie or not, but they're going on the card. And it's just a little card. I'm going to put one, just one. If my friend Karen was watching, she would be typing bling in all capital letters. But here's our note card. If you don't like solid colors on the inside, just throw some white paper in there. And again, that would be, let me measure it because I forgot to write it down, 2 1/4 by 4 1/4. And I like white on the inside, but like I said, friends, I got 10 of these to make, and I don't know if I'm going to get time to do all of them. So we'll see. Janice, I know they're your favorite. All right, so moment of truth. I suppose I should have checked to make sure. If I did my measurements right, which I hope I did, this is going to fit in this little envelope. If I can get my twine to snug in there, just like that. And then you could just glue this down. Or if you had you could also maybe cut out another piece of the designer series paper in orange or lemon and use that to seal the back of that. And if you needed to mail it, I don't know if you would mail something so little. I probably wouldn't. I'd be afraid it would get lost. But you could also put like a shipping label to write somebody's name on there. It totally depends what you want to do. But that is it. And I did have a sample in the watermelon, but you can see I tore it apart like minutes before the class started. That's when I realized I didn't have my tear and tape because I wrote the measurements down wrong. And I couldn't remember what I did. Anyway, so that's what I was doing just minutes before I hit go on the live, was tearing apart my watermelon envelope and then rushing downstairs to grab another pack of my tear and tape, which it turns out I didn't even need because I had just enough on this roll. So that's the kind of day I'm having. Anyways, the fruit salad designer series paper is a Sale-A-Bration item. I'm going to grab it. Hang on. It's not far from me. I'm just going to grab my pack. And there is a ton of really cute fruit designs. And when I first saw this in the Sale-A-Bration brochure, I thought, yeah, it's okay, but It's not for me. Well, it turns out it is for me, and I really like it. I ended up getting another pack on my last order, so I'm going to be swimming. This is the orange is my favorite. Where is it? Yes, this one. This is my absolute favorite. I love that one. And apples, more melons. Anyway, you can see there's even bananas. It's bananas. Anyway, I'm gonna flip this around. So that, if you don't know what Sale-A-Bration is, I feel like most of you do. Ignore my mess, because when I get prepping for card class, everything comes out, and I've got all these different stamp sets out, and I'm trying to figure out what to use that's different from the class I did the previous month, and different colors and different stamp sets and all those things. So I kind of spread it out and figure out what I'm going to do from there, and it's quite a messy process. Whenever my husband comes in the room, I can tell, just, he doesn't even have to say anything. I can just tell that it gives him anxiety. It gives him anxiety, the amount of mess that I have going on in our spare room. Anyway, I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. We should have bought a bigger house, clearly, with an extra room that I could claim as my craft room. It was poor planning. Anyway, so that's it. Sale-A-Bration is on until the end of the month. This paper is so much fun. I also use the sentiment from this stamp set. It's actually a bundle that you can get in Sale-A-Bration as well. So, but I will warn you, if you haven't shopped Sale-A-Bration yet, it is a slippery slope. I spend way more money on craft supplies in January and February just because of Sale-A-Bration, because I cannot resist. I cannot resist getting something for free. If I spend this and get that, I am that girl. Yeah, anyway. All right, so that's it for tonight with our tiny little note card and matching envelope, which is so cute. I will, at some point this week, try to do a short reel tutorial with the measurements, so it's an easy, handy little resource, so watch for that if you like to share short crafting reels for future crafting ideas. And Thursday, 7 p.m. Pacific, will be the second card in the Terrific Toadstools card class at home. I will post the measurement photos on Wednesday if you're going to craft along. I'll be using the Terrific Toadstools bundle, but you can use whatever you have in your stash if you don't have that, and just craft along anyway. And it's going to be a fairly simple card with stamp, ink, and paper, maybe a little bit of twine, because you know how I feel about twine, maybe some bling, and that'll be it. So that's coming. And again, if you are my customer this month, I am going to send you the card kits for the Terrific Toadstools card class at home for free as a thank you gift for shopping with me. So that's it. I'm going to pop a link for Sale-A-Bration in the comments. If you haven't checked it out, you should. There's lots of fun free stuff. Oh, Lisa, you got a mess too? Cindy, your room is a mess? I've missed some comments, friends, so I will go back and I'm going to read everybody's comments. All right, if you're catching the replay on Facebook, you're going to find the measurements photo in the comments. If you're catching it on YouTube, then you're going to find the measurements for this project in the video description. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in, and I hope I see some of you or all of you Thursday evening for the Terrific Toadstools card class at home. Bye for now.